Exactly. Hi, I have a question for you. For the first time in my life, I have a home insurance claim and related to some flooding damage. And I'm wondering if you have any experience to share with me around home insurance claims and working with contractors, um, or tips that you would suggest to me as I embark on this new temporary relationship.
I did have a big home insurance claim when my garage burned down. And I didn't know anything about insurance before then. So, quite a bit of what I know now, I learned through the insurance adjuster who would say, "Oh, you can do this, you can't do this." For example, if I if if I had a Christmas decoration, I could buy another Christmas decoration up to the price of replacing that. So I was, I guess, in very short words, I learned really quickly how to operate an Excel sheet so that I could figure out what would was going in which column, what that meant, what the money was going to look like, if I were being charged too much, too little. For example, if I had a resin Santa Claus, maybe a big 14-inch one like this that cost maybe it's about the replacement cost. So I had to know what the replacement cost was. Didn't matter what I'd bought that for. So if I'd bought that at churches for a song and a dance, it's not that I had to go back to churches and find another one. It's that I had to uh, go somewhere, find the cost, and then buy something at that cost. So that's one thing I'd want to share. Another thing is with the insurance people, I don't think I've had a claim out at the lake that I can remember. But Moya, if if I wanted to know something, I would go interview Moya or even just ask her a few questions. Maybe not interview her, but just find out what she's learned because she's had two fires that she's had to come through the other end with a new home. So it's it's she already had the new home. It's not like she was getting anything because now she had something that was gone, it was being replaced. So I think you should just have fun, get a new place. After all, if you don't like it, you can do it again. That's that's kind of what house decorating is about.
Great, thank you.
I missed the story, but I was wondering what it was.
And I'm not sure if we're still recording, but
Yeah.
what's that?
We are.
Oh, I'm being asked if I want them to fix my island in my kitchen
Oh, I want to hear.
or if I want the cash and so that I can fix it up myself later.
Wow.
And it's about $4,000 to do that. And so that's the decision I have to make. What's the cost of a kitchen island, and do I mind if it looks secondhand, or do I want the insurance company to pay for it to go back to looking like it did?
Yeah. Was that a very, did that question surprise you that you would have those options?
Yes, I think I'm, yeah, grappling with line items like $900 to pack up our kitchen and then unpack it again afterwards. And I'm used to thinking, oh, I need to save the resources of the planet, so I should unpack that myself and pack it up for free and not bill the insurance company and not waste the time of the contractors. But now I don't have but now I know that what would be wasted if I did that is my own energy and time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's never to your advantage to have to take the cash. It's never. And if they're telling you they're only going to put it back to how it was, that's baloney, because they're just going to pay the contractor a certain amount to do it, and then you just talk to the contractor and say, I want you to change that, I don't know, the linoleum to this slate, and I'll pay the difference. Like,
Yeah.
that's what you do. I don't know. What would you do?
Yeah.
I found for me when we had our house fire and I had to kind of do all those questions, for me, I get paralyzed by choice. So in some ways, I didn't want to do anything that required choosing or making decisions. I just wanted. So our floor, for example, we could have um, put down a different kind of flooring in our room, and to replace it to what it was at meant them actually hand milling the pieces so that they would match. So it was more labor intensive. It meant them putting down stuff. It meant we had to leave the house for 3 days because the vapors were too strong for us. So we had to all be up in a hotel. But I just didn't want to make any changes or choices. So for me, it was not worth it to take the money and then do something different.
Yeah.
I was just like,
Fix it.
I have replacement, you replace it. And all the thing about is it higher end or lower end, I didn't have the capacity to make any decisions or make any choices or even to have to say to the contractor, I would prefer this. So I think this is the thing where it really depends on the kind of person you are and the kind of things that matter to you. So for me, I couldn't care. Well, you know me, like I can't shop. I don't want to look at 3 tiles and choose which one. I become paralyzed by the choice. I just was like,
You just go, that one.
that, yeah, or just, yeah. So, now, I mean, Arta did that replacement, like she took the money rather than the books, right? So for her house, that choice let her put the money to something she wanted more than the replacement. And for us, there was a lot of time on replacement. Like I had to go out and I had to find 12 boys' shirts, 400 CDs, like the work of actually replacing. When our house got robbed in Fredericton and all our CDs got stolen, the work of replacing those CDs, partly like I'd done it over 20 years. So having to go out and then find the number of CDs was also overwhelming, right? So I think,
Either's okay.
either's okay.
And you know what? I actually was thinking about that. When we got broken into, we took the cash out because some of the stuff we didn't want to replace it. So some stuff we took cash out, and some stuff like the door, I said, no, you have to replace it. They broke the door. I'm not going to waste my time fixing the door.
Yeah.
But all the computers that got stolen, they were old computers. I had new ones anyway. Like we just take the cash and buy something else with it. All my jewelry got stolen. And then when we tried to take that back, we had a limit on our jewelry I hadn't known. So I think I got like a max of $4,000 or something for all the jewelry, even though it was well over that. So insure your jewelry. Insure your jewelry for what it's worth, because boy, they totally screw you on that.
Yeah.
Thank you for making this video with me and talking about it with me. I think the main thing I've learned from it is this is my first time with an insurance claim. And it's possible that in my lifetime, there'll be more insurance claims because unexpected things happen.
Yep.
And so there's no right way. I just make a choice and then be at peace with that and do my best with it and know that all three of you women have dealt with this exact thing and I can do it.
Yeah, you can.
So thank you guys.
When I was doing my insurance claim, I had my dad's milk can out in the garage. So I put down, replace one milk can. But when they came to having to replace the milk cans now have to be made in a different way. The seal has to be different and this has to be different. So instead of maybe $350 for milk can, it was up in the thousands of dollars for a milk can. So the
Wow.
insurance agents was saying to me things like, surely you wouldn't expect us to pay $3,000 for a milk can. What are you ever going to do with it anyway? So he was bringing on shaming and blaming techniques
Yeah.
on me. And in the end, I didn't really, in the end, I kind of wish I'd said, no, find me a milk can, even though,
Yeah.
That's
so,
what you paid for, was replacement cost
Yeah.
insurance.
so
Well, and it's interesting that you should bring that up, because one of my biggest challenges is that the contractor, I'm just thinking about the series you've been doing on talking about feminism and kind of invisible things that you are weighing down on you. You don't even know there's a name for it. Um, the contractor, his behavior makes me feel uncomfortable. It could be something as like he called me, he was going through the drive-through to pick up a coffee. So I get to hear both conversations. And when he's talking to me and when he's talking to the coffee person, and he says, oh, you have someone different on the call box here. Usually there's a lovely giggly girl on the line. And I'm just like, are you kidding me, you creepy old man? Or, you know, when he was measuring things in the kitchen, he wanted to tell me a long story about his child's injury, one of his kids getting a head injury. And he said, but he's a very smart boy, and all he'll need to do is he'll just need to have a wife who does the books for him. And yeah, shocking.
Disrupts your insurance claim because it's another genre now interacting with something.
Yeah,
So you
exactly.
have things happening. Yeah.
Yeah. So when that man was saying to you, surely you wouldn't expect us to replace the milk can, right? He's kind of using some gendered.
I would have been fine with it all, but it was $350, and then he'd only give me 80% of that because of, I don't know, kind of attrition, or
Right.
it had lost some of its value, like a car being driven off. And when I saw that, I just didn't have the guts to say, excuse me, I've changed my mind. So I have kind of a voice now that I didn't have then.
Yeah.
I didn't speak up for myself, but now I see that along the road that it's been good for me to learn to develop that voice, to grab hold of that voice, to practice it.
Mhm.
Sometimes I even have to practice in the quiet of my room or somewhere, practice what I'm going to say back when someone says something that I don't like. I don't know I don't know how you'll work out with, so this flirty way of men from a generation older than you, it
Mhm.
just is nasty. It's so demeaning. You might have to tell him that.
Yes.
And then you just tell him, now let's you and I just do business.
Yeah. I look forward to reporting back to you
Oh,
or to your blog of how I handle it,
oh,
how I do the practice.
that's going to be fun.
Thank you. I love you. Bye.
Are you
Bye.
going? Okay. Are you?
Just
Oh,
stop.
so the reason why I'm going is I just